Thanks, Deepa. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 11th Foundation Day of WIPPA. I'm proud to say that there is hardly any private wind IPP in the country who is not the member of WIPPA. That shows how passionately we work for the industry. I will not spend a lot of time on the WIPPA's introduction, as many of you already know. We are here together to understand what is the importance of wind, and I would like to begin here. As we know that the ratio of infirm power in the entire energy, right now it is 13%, but it is really going to grow. And once this number increases, so is the importance of integration of renewables with the rest of the grid. And it is in this background I would like to highlight, if you look at this map, which is from the CA report, and this is for a typical day, 24 hours, in a year 2029-30, and it shows that how the demand of a specific hour is met by different resources. So 2 points here. The first is that the wind capacity is crucial for the evening peak. That goes without saying. If you see on the right-hand side, the green color wind, that is which is really going to take a lot of load on the evening peak. The second, obviously, is that we are the cheapest. If we compare the wind tariff versus the other avenues, which is batteries or pumped storage, batteries and pumped storage is almost at 15 rupees effective tariff. We are at 3.5. So that is the moot point here, that if you look at any FDRE bid or RTC bid today, the highest component of the energy mix is coming from wind. Then comes the solar, and then the last is the storage. So we are, in a way, pushing out the storage to the extent possible. And having said some stats on our sector, almost 10% of the installed capacity is wind. This ratio is going to increase. We are going to be almost 13%, 14% as we move by year 2030. A lot has been done by the government, so there's no doubt about it. If I start talking about each of this, it will take a lot. But having said, a lot of us would not have been attending this if we would not have got the late payment surcharge rules. This was a real saver. We all know how much was the receivable, specifically in states like Tamil Nadu, Telangana. Then comes the ISTS waiver. It almost opened a new industry. Open access earlier was restricted to the states. With the advent of this single change, now even an industry sitting in West Bengal can buy renewable power, and it is becoming economical to do so. And so goes the entire list of policy changes which government has done. We all face multiple problems, and in every aspect there has been a very aggressive issue resolution from the government. We start with GIB, which was led by the Supreme Court order, which all started with the Supreme Court order. The solar was fixed, and now I am made to understand even wind also is getting fixed. So we can do wind projects in Rajasthan. Similarly, MOD maps, it used to take almost 6 months to get NOC from MOD. Now with the recent changes, almost 50 gigawatt of wind doesn't require any NOC from MOD. A significant improvement. And so goes on the whole list. And coming to planning, very steep target of 140 gigawatt, and we have a bidding which is almost 3 times what was there last year. FY23 bidding number was 15 gigawatt, and this year we have already issued 35-40 gigawatt, and the target is to go to 50 gigawatt. And so are the new initiatives. Now we have got the seabed allocation bid. We have already started FDRE. So the whole list of changes that government has brought in has revived the wind sector. But having said, we still want to point out that the last 5 years, average wind capacity installation or addition is just a meager number, which is 1.7 gigawatt or so. We have done a remarkable improvement over the last 2-3 years. So we have almost going to triple the capacity addition in current financial year from what it was 2 years back. So we first moved from 1.1 to 2.3, and hopefully we will end this year at 3.3. Significant improvement, but again to repeat, we have to do a lot. In fact, we will end up losing our so-called fourth largest installed capacity ranking if we don't do any rectification, because we were just checking the numbers after 2008. So capacity addition after 2008, India is actually not fourth, India is sixth ranked. And if I go to this slide, this is what we need to achieve, because in the onshore itself, by FY30, we have to reach 110 gigawatt. It clearly requires 10 gigawatt of capacity addition annually, and we are here sitting at 1.7 gigawatt based on the last 5 years. So, sir, hence we have certain suggestions for MNRE, though it's something that a lot of suggestions are being made in monthly meeting. We get enough opportunities. But we thought that as all the dignitaries are here, we would repeat some of them and we have certain additions to it. So we have categorized it. I would say that 70–80% of our problems can be solved if we solve these two critical issues. And these two critical issues are evacuation and the PPA. And just to remind you, we achieved 5.5 gigawatt in FY17. And if we look back how we did it, because in those times there was feed-in tariffs, no issues of PPA. In those times, evacuation was not a severe problem because it was largely 50–100 megawatt of state STU connected project. So if we draw a parallel, even today also we are facing the same issue. If we win a bid today in wind, and if my target is to commission the wind project in next 2 years, there are very limited CTU substations available. We have also given a list of wind sites which are currently not having a CTU substation, and this was an initiative by SECI. We provided them this list, and we hope that the number of CTU substations will increase once an action is taken on the same. So moving on, we also believe the PPA is a real issue. By now, as I said, 35 gigawatt of bids have been issued, a lot of LOAs have been issued. But if I start counting the LOAs converted into PPA, they are very, very minimal. And hence, the need of the hour is that we implement the pool tariff as soon as possible. Obviously, there are other ways where states can be incentivized to buy more power, but this is the least that should be done. We also thank government to try again implementing RPO. And RPO enforcement is part of the Electricity Act, but still not been implemented. MOP has done a great job, or government has done a great job by bringing it as part of the Energy Conservation Act also. Now the implementation agency should be BEE. WIPPA is ready to work with BEE or any enforcement agency to get it implemented. It's at high time we implement RPO. That will help in the point number 2, which is the PPA signing. So, sir, these are the 3 critical issues, but there are some teaching issues that we are facing. We have just listed them here. So, one is the recent CA standards for connectivity. So, when the session was starting, each one of us were discussing about his or her plants, which is stuck at one or the other stage because of this problem. We are not sure why we need to link temperature with the commissioning or with giving the connectivity. I will not go into detail, but our limited request is that we are always open about a full day session with POSOCO or CA to discuss it. We are also commissioning a study which shows that how the ambient temperature and the temperature at the hub height, particularly in the windy months, are related to each other. But today, sir, the need of the hour is that all of us wants to commission, have some target by March end, and if some conditional CODs can be given. We have done most of the things which are mentioned in these regulations. We have spent enough amount of money in buying SVGs or reactive power banks or whatever was required. Only minor issues are left if they can be put aside and our plants are let to be commissioned. So similarly, open access rules. A lot of time, minister specifically called a meeting on this subject and asked that why the consumers are not using interstate open access charges waiver and buying power through interstate route. So the problem is that it's good that at a central level we have a renewable registry online process of getting NOCs. But at the precursor to apply in that registry is to get a state NOC. And that state NOC is not given by Tamil Nadu, it is not given by Telangana, they have multiple reasons to deny it, and we are not able to even move to the first step. So at the central level, good implementation is done, but we are not letting the state connect to it, and here our request is all the customers who are already connected, it means they have some GNA, they should be given deemed NOC. There is no need to take specific approvals because already the network is built for them. Similarly, sir, on the MOD issue, a great initiative, only some teething issue is left. We have a Kalam substation which has 2.5 gigawatt of connectivity already applied for, but the entire substation is now impacted by the new MOD maps, which shows that it is a no WTG zone. So anyhow, we will not, MNRE has written to MOD, we hope we will keep pursuing it. And the last thing, the RBI notification which has come from some of the NBFCs and some of our finance fraternity. So this is something which RBI announced in November last year. They said that banks, while lending to NBFCs, whatever was the risk weightages has been increased. It was done to address something else, but it is impacting our sector because NBFCs contribute to almost 55% of the lending. So we will write a detailed letter on this if through MOD, if through MOF we can pursue this. So these are the policy reforms. I would not spend much time, but the key is, so the June 25 ISTS waiver, we have not been able to utilize it. First, there was COVID, then there was GIB issue. Whatever capacity we plan to commission by June 25 is not happening. And that's why we align this with our 2030 target, we extend it by 2030. Similarly, I will not spend time on indexing of wind tariff. And the other point is, why don't we have wind parks? There is a lot of private land, there is a lot of revenue land already being assigned to private sectors, which is very, very good for the wind industry. And these are more than 19,000 acres land, 20,000 acres land. So if the same land can be given to REIAs, a very large size wind project can be done. So in Khavda next year, we understand that 6-7 gigawatt in 1 year will come. If something it happens on wind, in 1 year we can do a substantial capacity addition. So these are some state-specific reforms. We all know that there is a lot of intent by the state to favor wind, but there are some different approaches adopted by different states. So the first and the foremost is that if we can have a uniform micro-siting guidelines. If we go in Karnataka, they follow a different approach. If we go to Maharashtra, they follow a different approach, and all of them are so confusing. So that's one. And the state nodal agencies. Sir, we all know in a state like Maharashtra, in the last 5 years, the average wind capacity addition would have been 100 megawatt. Now we want to do 1,000 megawatt a year. They have not been strengthened to that level. The application for project clearance, which has been submitted in November, still has not been cleared. So they need a lot of strengthening. And one suggestion is, if we can have a Pragati kind of portal, where at least for the projects awarded by the SECI or the REIAs, we can get help on ROW resolution, we can get help on multiple other state-related issues where there is a linkage to the project clearances. So this is something unique for the wind industry. We all know this. It's not there in solar. We have to maintain distance between turbines, and that's why SNA is the implementing agency for that. We need full support from them. So with this, I would like to conclude that these are some of the issues. If we really resolve, we will be able to come back on track. This industry has already done 5.5 gigawatt a year, so it is not a surprise that if we reach to 10 gigawatts, significant potential is available for us. Thank you very much.